You've just accessed Hardware is Forever, your source for the expert insights, ideas, and innovations you need to do more in the electronics manufacturing industry. From optimization to operations, join us as we put the pieces together for a better approach to manufacturing. Let's go.
This is Hardware is Forever. I'm Chris Bentliff, and Jay Patel returns as always with us, and we're discussing HMLV as we've been doing for some time now, Jay. And I want to talk a little bit about supply chain, because is it accurate that your process can only be as strong as your supply chain is? Your efficiency can only be as efficient as your supply chain is. Where the breakdowns that happen early will really hurt later on. Yeah?
Yeah. So I think, in a high mix world, what kind of sucks is you don't have leverage over your supply chain anymore. So if Toyota tells somebody I need parts, or if GM tells somebody I need parts, they'll get the priority and they'll get the parts. When our customers say they need parts, when it trickles through us to the supply chain, you want what? You want 500? For GM, that's not even a rounding error. That's sand in the wind. It doesn't make a difference ultimately for the vendor to support that. So I think, understanding that in a high mix, low volume environment is very, very important. So what that leads to is having us trying to build stuff from off the shelf components, because we're not going to get custom components, or we're not going to get support for anything that's really unique or special about about the assembly. So task one is find out off the shelf components that are easily supported through distribution. And the next thing is make sure that product that you design in is going to be there for the next 5 or 10 years. So then you don't, your volume is low. If a part goes obsolete on it, then your cost to redesign it is high. And then you just keep on chew out of your profits over and over again on our customer side. They get into that cycle. So when you're designing it, it's more important to design the supply chain in mind, understanding that you have a low volume product, you don't have leverage, and that you don't want to run into obsolescence issues. So then you don't have to redesign your whole assembly or end of life it prematurely.
So then a solution to that could be, let's just inventory. Let's buy a whole ton of these and just put a bunch of them in the back. But now we're starting to defeat the purpose of HMLV. It's not designed for us to have all these parts and pieces. I don't know where's the tension between we need to now innovate because this thing is no longer available, or this thing works for us and we need to do everything we can to not change it.
So I think you have to keep both things in mind. You have to have both levers ready for you. Like if a company is willing to buy 5,000 of these parts that's going to last them 5 to 10 years, and then they inventory it, like one of our customers, they can inventory it, that's fine. But know that their working capital is being consumed. And that's a financial decision that they have to make. If they're okay with that, they're okay with it. In fact, if they want to build all 5,000 at once and then store it for 10 years, good for them too. But many organizations don't have that kind of working capital. They must cash flow. And for our customers and us to cash flow, we have to be able to be ready to design the product and the program for understanding that, again, that we need to have a supply chain that supports high mix, low volume type of business.
How important is it to diversify? So you've got options and you've got multiples and you can go here or there, or even, I don't know how much we can find it for a penny cheaper over there. How important is that in your approach or your process?
Yeah, diversification is really important. To have multiple options for every single BOM line that you have is critical, but that's not always the case. If you get into some more complex components, you have your software tied into it. You have a lot of different things. Your firmware's tied into it. So, you could have so many different things. Your connectors are tied in. Once you go a route with a connector manufacturer, you're pretty much stuck with them because you have everything else interfacing with that. And then on top of that, if you have certifications for your product that have to get safety tested or approved by the FDA or the UL, any changes are going to take a lot of effort. So when you are working with the high mix, low volume type of product, you got to get all that kind of stuff and you have to vet it and make sure that you don't have to respin that whole thing, because when you respin it, you're respinning everything, not just one thing.
Which is a great segue to my next question, which was, how do we optimize this stuff? How do we predict? How do we do as much as we can so that we're not blindsided by any of these realities that can affect the supply chain?
Yeah, so I think this can't be a NASA approach where when we went to the moon, we developed products and things to help us get to the moon because we had that objective. It can't be like that. We have to take what's off the shelf and available to us and work closely with supply chain. So engineering must work with supply chain. If engineering says, I want to use this processor or this Bluetooth module or this connector, supply chain should have a look at that and say, okay, yeah, this is what's going to be, will be the life cycle of the product will be able to support the life cycle and match the life cycle of our program. So yeah, this looks good. We can use it. So I think, and then manufacturing engineering has to get involved and say, if we use this particular part, we'll be able to manufacture it. It's just not going to cost. It's not going to add X amount of cost to the whole thing. It'll be able to be easily manufactured. So I think that's where you have to take a team-based approach and integrate manufacturing engineering, sales, supply chain, and design into the whole thing to make sure that you get a product that's going to last in this type of HMLV environment.
We talked in an episode or two ago around quality control and quality management. It feels like in a certain kind of culture, there would be a reality or a risk of cutting corners or finding the cheapest, not the best, and not the best that we can afford, but just, it feels like there would always be an opportunity where the client won't know, the customer won't know, let's just do this instead, or let's do that instead. I don't know. What's your response to that?
Well, again, I think we talked about what is over processing and what is too much. Now, if my customer's customer says, I want this, and he designs a product to that and gives it to the customer, that's good enough. That's exactly what the customer asked for. So we need to make sure that we're not over processing our design or over engineering it or making it too complicated, that it goes even above their customers and customers' requirements. So I think just understanding what the customer's asking for, what the standard is, and the scope of the program of the product is, and then finding ways to solve it and give them a product that they need or they want with off-the-shelf components with long supply life cycles is what the teams need to do. They just need to give the customers what they want, not more, not less.
How engaged then are you on the other end of the process? So with the customer, how much feedback are you getting or asking for or receiving so that you know from them what iterations are required? Or what should I, if I'm kind of figuring this out, what should I be doing to engage with my customer so that I'm making the right decisions? I'm not over processing, but at the same time, I'm not under delivering.
Yeah. So I think just really good communication and really good engagement. Like for us, we like to get engaged at the design level because not a lot of companies have the sophisticated supply chain analysis capabilities that we have. So we try to take their BOM. We talk to them at the design side and say, okay, yeah, this is good. This is high risk. You may want to put some other parts in here or design something else in. Or do you really need something this complicated or this, with this precise? Can we go with something more generic? And then we like to have those conversations at the beginning. But the issue with that is the customers have to welcome us in at that point. We are open to having those conversations on both DFM analysis side and supply chain analysis side. And that's something that we offer as one of our generic or free, no-cost services, but they have to take us up on that.
And if they don't, then you're kind of checking boxes and hoping for the best, or what? How does it work in real time?
I mean, we provide what the customer wants. And the customer's standard is that, then we're going to provide that. But we have done our job and diligence to let the customer know that give the customer the information they need to be successful.
Do your customers care how it gets done? That's a really open question, but is HMLV a value proposition? Like, this is how we do it. Oh, I'm glad you guys do it that way because
I think the more sophisticated ones do. They ask the right questions. They know how their product should be processed. And when they come to our shop, they're pleasantly surprised with all of the technology, all of the capability, all of the innovation that happens. Our tech stack is very, very unique, and our tech stack presents itself really, really well for a high mix, low volume environment. So the customers are pretty impressed and very happy with it.
Which, as part of their supply chain, I imagine, that works well for them. How we're in a climate of crazy times, and we don't need to talk about all of those details. But how do you adjust your supply chain to circumstances you can't control? I think
that's where I know I was just meeting with a vendor recently, and I said to them, I need to have a better relationship with my vendors than I do with my customers, because customers will come and go, but there's only a handful of vendors that can supply product in my supply chain. So all the distributors, I have to have a really good relationship with them, because I can't afford to get fired by them. So I need to have really great relationships. So then they're always looking out for what is best for Amtech and giving us a heads up. Hey, this is going to happen. Hey, we're looking at allocation happening later on this year. You may want to get some POs and just kind of give us some information that the public may not be, it may not be available to the public, but because we have that relationship, they can provide that to us. So I think having those relationships and engaging with our supply chain will make us a stronger organization. And it has. They've given us valuable insight into the trends geopolitically of what can be happening. And it's helped us out.
How does that trickle down or up to your relationship with your customers?
When we provide product, we always talk about reliable, robust, and responsive. And what a robust solution is no matter what the inputs are, the outputs are the same. Mm-hmm. That is robust. So as long as we get, as long as they can rely on us and they know that our outputs are going to be the same, the customer can plan better on their end.
Jay Patel is the CEO at Amtech. Fascinating stuff. And I appreciate that this has been a process as you've been sort of iterating in your own space at Amtech and your own learning and things. I'm thinking about early episodes, and I want to talk about that in an upcoming one. But I appreciate that you have so much to give in this space, and you've been so generous with your understanding of it that, I learn something every time we talk. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, and a special thanks to our subscribers and followers. Consider becoming one today wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. Hardware is Forever is designed, tested, engineered, and built by the manufacturing experts at Amtech. Learn more and let us help you envision your next project with a free Design for Manufacturing assessment at buildamtech.com/DFM.